Hi guys, how are you?
Hi, I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm doing great. So to start, the I love that the show is a lot about hockey and hockey players, just because I think that's not necessarily, with the exception, I think of like the Mighty Ducks show. There's not a lot of hockey shows where you get to see players like interacting and how they all are as a team. For you guys, getting to be a part of a show that is unique and it's hockey, it's raunchy, all those different things kind of thrown together. What for you is the excitement of this show and getting to come back every season?
Well, for me, I love this style of comedy is so unique. Jared has really crafted something that it's its own rhythm, its own style. It's so exciting to be a part of it. And what he does with the characters is always very surprising. So I think that the comedy itself, like he takes a lot of risks. He makes a lot of edgy jokes, and it's a wonderful mix of silly, absurd humor and really clever, quick-witted humor. So I just love to be on set and participating in all of that. But in terms of the hockey, it's a show that is more than just about hockey. It's about community. It's about bringing people together. And this season, and the third season, we get to get a little bit more of the perspective of what it means to be a hockey player and the things that they go through. And so learning about the game through them has been really interesting, being a part of this show.
Absolutely. And I feel like it's also just like such great family. We always look forward to like getting back together, getting back with the gang. And it really is that feeling of like the team effort. And it really pays off at the end too when we have that finished product that we can celebrate all together, just like the victories that we celebrate on the show. So yeah, it's really great to get back with you, Hannah.
Yeah, and I also love, I love sports movies because I think, and it's never actually about the sport that is happening. It's about like all of these characters coming together. And for you guys though, what is it about sports in general, especially like sports television where it extends the entire season, that you think is so appealing for audiences to like keep coming back to Shoresy and wanting to see more and more of these characters?
There's so much. That's a big answer. Because I feel like, again, throwing it back to Jay, the development of each of them is just so delightful. You really fall in love with them, and then you're like wondering what's next for them. Where are they going? How are they transforming? And it's always a surprise for us too. Like we can't wait to get the next scripts and read where the journey takes us.
And two, there's something about watching athletes and sports teams push through obstacles to try and achieve great things and get those championships. And, I think that's why we all love to watch the Olympics and why we're all cheering for the different sports, the different athletes and the teams, because not only is it exciting and, you're cheering for someone to achieve something, but it also brings people together. Like we all get to watch our favorite teams together or our favorite gymnast or whoever it is with the people who share that joy. So there really is a sense of like, bringing people together, bringing family together, community together, friends, going out to the pub and watching games. Like it's a really nice way of keeping people together.
Yeah, and you guys talked about how it like feels like a family being on that set and everything. But is there like an activity that you guys would all do that is not hockey and or filming that you were like, yeah, this is like what we do to hang? Because I feel like we see a lot of the hockey players all hanging and talking on the show, but like what do you guys get to do?
Pass, I'm just having flashbacks to the bowling alley.
The what?
The bowling
Oh,
alley.
the bowling alley. We hang out together quite a bit. Just depending on the filming schedule, depending on who has to work and who's off or whatnot. This last season, a bunch of us started cold plunging together, which was really fun. So we would go to our stunt coordinator's house, and it was like going cold plunging in Northern Ontario was insane, but like really kind of exciting. And we all got together and we would jump into the lake and it was awful and freezing. And then we'd go up and we would, play the guitar and just hang out and just spend time together. Yeah.
Instigated by Tasya, absolutely.
I was surprised you guys decided to join me. I was like, well, okay, it's not fun, but it is fun, but it's.
Everyone's like, yeah, sure, we'll hang with you. The
Some
cold,
people were straight up like, no. You know,
they're like, I'm so good.
they're like, I'm
Um,
fine.
but I also too love, I don't know what it is. Like I said earlier, there's sport, whenever you think about sports movies, there's always that instant where you're like, this is the one that means the most to me. Before you guys were on Shoresy, did you guys have that movie or that show where you were just like, this is my sports movie? Because now I'm assuming it's Shoresy.
For me,
Definitely.
it's definitely Shoresy. I mean, Shoresy has like I don't know, it's renewed my love for hockey. I grew up watching hockey, but I grew up playing soccer, and I'm part Brazilian. And so when Ted Lasso came out, I was like really thrilled because I thought that was a really like beautiful show about sports and all of the heart that goes into it. And then kind of simultaneously, this show was, starting up. And where we've gone in season 3 with this show, it brings that same sense of heart and that same sense of, I don't know, heart really that you see in Ted Lasso. It has that raunchy grit that we love about the hockey world and about this show. But this season, you start to see some new tones to the show, which is great.
Yeah. And do you guys though? So I'm assuming you guys filmed during hockey season.
We have.
What is that like?
It's been interesting. I feel like the community is so welcoming to us that we have a really nice schedule where we kind of dance around the teams when they're playing in the stadium. Wait, is it called a stadium?
The rink.
Arena, I think.
Rink. But yeah, I feel like we've somehow gotten into a good flow, and then it's really fun too because we get to go watch the games and support the local team for the
Yeah.
community, by the community, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do love that this central, like I think it's in the trailer, but they're like, why do you keep doing this? And he was just like, because that's what it's hockey, and I think that's very. It's not even a hockey thing; it's universal that people do things that they're like, why are you doing this thing that clearly hurts you? And you're like, because I like this thing.
It's
Um,
who I am. Yeah.
yeah, you're like, that's what do you want me to do? And you guys
Yeah.
as actors, I'm sure you also understand that feeling of like, why do you do this thing? And it's like, well, because it's what I love. But is there something like you said soccer, but was there ever something when you guys were younger that you were like, I could do this for the rest of my life in the way that like hockey kind of exists for these guys?
Absolutely. Dance for me. I really like wanted to go to the National Ballet School of Canada and dance for Beyonce before I found out I could be an actor. Like day and night at the dance studio for sure. So I really get sort of that love for the things that bring us together, like Tass was saying. So
Yeah, I think for me, it's acting. I started doing that when I was a kid. I took a little break from it when I was going through elementary school and high school, but acting is something that is endlessly interesting and curious, and there's always just so much to learn about it constantly. And being on this show, for instance, I've opened up this whole doorway to learning about comedy, which is so fascinating to me, and study comedians and going to comedian show or comedy shows. So it's acting for me.
and for our last question, now we're heading into season 3, and so fans know these characters, they know kind of what we're getting into with Shoresy. What are you guys most excited for people to get to see with season 3?
I'm like, don't say the spoiler, don't say the
I
spoiler.
know, I know. I had to specifically train myself to not, I'm like, we're not going there. I mean, as always, I'm always excited for the fans to see some of the like ridiculous things that the hockey players do. And this season is very special in that way. They do some really wild things this season. So I'm really excited for that, but I'm more excited for them to get behind the mask, the audiences to get behind the mask, because we're going new places with the characters and we're starting to get into their stories more. So I'm really thrilled for the audiences to see that and see how they receive it.
I feel like we really like reach into the depths in both ways, even deeper this season. We take some pretty bad hits and then we really like get to like relish those celebrations afterwards that much more because it just pays off so well.
I love it. Thank you guys so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait for everyone to get to see season 3.
Oh,
Yay.
thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
You
Good to
guys.
see you.
Thank you, Rachel.